It's Brenda Meller. On today's episode, I'm going to do a LinkedIn profile mini audit for Julie Ford. And Julie is currently in career transition, and I've agreed to give her a couple pointers. In exchange, Julie has graciously agreed to allow me to record this session, which will be on YouTube as well as on my podcast at a later date. So, Julie, how are you doing today?
Fine, how are you?
I am doing great. Looking forward to our conversation. First question I have for you, Julie, is tell me what is your targeted job title and your targeted geographic area for your next role?
Targeted roles, either HR coordinator, HR generalist, HR specialist, or onboarding specialist. Geographical would be either fully remote or remote with partial hybrid. But if it is partial hybrid, I'd like to be, a closer commute if I possibly can.
And that's in Metro Detroit, is that correct?
Right, Metro Detroit area, correct.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm seeing a couple things right off the bat. I'm going to give you some pointers here. And I'm going to start first with we talked about your targeted job title, and you said HR coordinator, and you had a couple different job titles that you had suggested. In your
Yes.
headline field, Julie, right now, if I look at your headline, it says HR professional, proven relationship builder, champion of growth culture, results driven, expert in onboarding and employee relations. All of those are really great keywords. The one thing that is missing that I would recommend that you add is at least one of your targeted job titles. So, one of the things to keep in mind is that when recruiters or hiring managers are searching for you on LinkedIn, they are looking for the keywords HR coordinator. So, the headline field is one of those fields that's weighted pretty heavily for resulting searches. So, it's really important that you include at least one or maybe multiple job titles in your headline field. So, that's my first pointer for you. Having said that, I do like what you have in there. It has some really strong keywords and phrases. You can have up to 220 characters in total in there, Julie. So it's possible you could keep what you have and maybe add in a job title or two. You can certainly put it at the end of your headline or maybe put it in the middle in there, but that would be the first recommendation I have for you.
Okay.
Okay. Second thing is your geographic area currently on your profile right now says New Baltimore, Michigan. If you click on the gray pencil icon, I'm actually going to show you where this is at right now. We could probably do this change real quick. Click on the gray pencil icon in the white area at the top. We're in our edit intro section. Scroll down to where you see the location, which says New Baltimore. Click on the drop down arrow for New Baltimore, Michigan, and change that to Detroit metropolitan area. And then click on save in the lower right-hand corner. What has happened here, Julie, is if you have, go ahead and click on the pop-up, close out of that. When you have New Baltimore as your city, that becomes the radius for all searches on LinkedIn. When you put Detroit, Michigan, we're expanding the radius for your search results. Click on your page refresh if you could, because I'm still seeing New Baltimore. And that's that little circular arrow in your URL address bar. Or go into your URL where it says linkedin.com and that'll refresh it. There you go. You got it. So now
Oh,
where
okay, got
where
it.
it had New Baltimore, it says Detroit metropolitan area. And I'm actually glad that happened because Julie, LinkedIn often will hiccup, we'll make changes, and then we look at our profile and the change isn't there, and we try to go back and change it again, and it's already there. So often it's like a ketchup bottle getting stuck, and we need to hit on the side of it, and we do so by clicking on the page refresh, and then it gets us back to where we are. So I've given you two tips already, including your job title in your
Mhm.
headline field, modifying your location to match the broader geographic area, which broadens the search results you appear in. The other thing that happens, Julie, is you might have somebody who's in, let's say, Farmington Hills, Michigan, who sees New Baltimore and they come to the conclusion that's too far for Julie. It's a hybrid position, but that's too far for Julie. She's not going to drive, and they exclude you from search. Now, that's their point of view. You might say, no, Farmington Hills isn't too far for me to drive, especially if it's only 1 or 2 days a week. That allows you to make the decision on whether the geographic area is a fit instead of that employer or hiring manager. Does that make sense?
Right. So then when the recruiter is, like you said, searching that, as you
Yeah,
said, about going, regards to, oh, well, Julie may or may not drive to this particular area for that long of a distance.
exactly. Let's let you make the decision if that drive is reasonable or not. Let's not them make that decision for you. Another few things I'm noticing at the top of your profile, you've got a banner image right now that says you work in HR, create a culture of fun at work. One thing I'm noticing as I'm looking at it on my screen is it looks a little bit pixely. Like the image is not as crisp as I would like it to be. And when we see an image that maybe is a little bit fuzzy or kind of pixelated looking, it might denote lower quality, and that in turn could reflect back on you. So if you like that image, my recommendation for you would be to try to find it in a higher resolution. So for example, if it was created as a JPEG file, try to see if you can find it in a PNG format or convert it to a PNG format instead. I create a lot of my images for headers using canva.com, and canva.com will allow you to export it as a PNG instead of as a JPEG image. And again, it's a reflection back upon you. So as people are looking at your profile, they are looking at whether, they're getting that impression of you as a quality candidate or not. So that can help with that. It's a minor point, but something to pay attention to. Moving on, I see that your current employer is noted as currently seeking new role. If you could scroll down to your experience section as we're talking about this right now. And I want to let you know that this is the rule on LinkedIn. This is not me. I don't think it's fair. But if you do not have a current employer in your experience section, you're actually penalized in search results. So you're not going to come up in as many search results. Now, you do have something designated that says currently seeking new role, but there's no company page that's associated with it. What I would recommend for you, Julie, is look for a company page on LinkedIn that's called Open to New Opportunities or currently seeking new role. There's company pages that other job seekers and job seeking communities have set up that count as a company page, and there's actually a logo next to them. And that way you can still keep human resources coordinator in there, but then it's linked to the company page so that you're not getting hit with that page search penalty. Does that make sense?
Kind of. I don't, I guess, how would I, about regards to doing
Great
that?
question. Click on the gray pencil icon in the top of your experience section, and then click on the gray pencil icon next to your currently seeking new role position. When we get into that field, go into the company field that says company name that says currently seeking new role. Click on the after the E in role. Click into that box. Click after the E in role.
Under company name?
Yep. Click in your company name bar. And then you see there's a bunch of new there's a bunch of companies that are appearing in the drop down. Scroll down and see if you can find one that's generic looking. Let's delete out currently seeking new role and let's type in open, just the word open to
Oh.
the word to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we get some open to work, open to new opportunities. So you can see here though how this drop-down list contains pages essentially. So find one that you like, and it doesn't really matter that much really because we're just using this as a company name. We're not using it as where your employer is. We're just using this to bypass the LinkedIn penalty for not having an employer on here. And I would say for now, Julie, just pick one. You can always go back and look at some of these pages later. You may notice that some have a geographic location or state or country affiliated. Others might have an industry that matches what you're looking for, but that'll at least help you overcome that page penalty that you're not getting right now. And then close out of the pop-up. We don't want to have any notifications go out to our network about this. Click on discard and close out of this. Skip it.
Close out of that. Yep.
Yep. Okay, there you go. And then click on your back arrow if you could under experience. And I want to look at one last thing, and then we will complete your profile mini audit for today. So I want to look at your about section. So in the beginning of the call, I asked you to describe what is your targeted job title, what is your targeted geographic area. So what I want you to think about in your about statement is if you're sitting across the table from a hiring manager or a recruiter, and they're saying, we're thinking about hiring you, Julie. What are you looking for? And you wouldn't say to them what you have right now, passionate HR professional with over 13 years of experience. Like you wouldn't say that. You would say, I am an experienced HR professional seeking my next full-time opportunity as an HR coordinator / whatever job titles those are. My next employer will be located in the Southeast Michigan area, or you could say Detroit Metro, possibly with a hybrid opportunity or 100% on 100% online position. And then you could get into some additional detail. I specialize in HR management and thrive on leading with growth culture. So you could start to move on from that, but I want to make sure that your about statement, it's very crystal clear what you're looking for, where you're looking for that position, and then what you bring to the company next. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, Julie, he would also ask me a question about Easy Apply. What were my thoughts on that? Any recommendations either way? And I want to just give this
Correct.
response to you. So, in terms of Easy Apply, LinkedIn's trying to make it easier and easier for job seekers to apply for positions and also for employers to get candidates for positions. My personal point of view on the Easy Apply is I recommend using that for positions where you're lukewarm, maybe interested in the job, but don't really want to put forth a great deal of effort. My preference is always to apply directly through the website if you can, as opposed through LinkedIn. Eventually, a lot of employers are going to say you have to go and apply on our website anyway, so you're cutting out a bit of the middleman. Certainly, you could use Easy Apply, but as with all job postings, if it's a position you're genuinely interested in, you don't want to put all of your eggs into the ATS basket, so to speak. Like put your application in, Easy Apply, and then cross your fingers and wait for them to call you. What I would recommend that you do in these opportunities where it's a position you're very interested in, make sure, first of all, that you're following the company page on LinkedIn. On that organization's company page, look in the about section of the page. If they have the thing that says notify employer that you're interested in open opportunities at their company, click on that button if that button does exist. I would also look and see if you have any connections who are employees of the company that can help to make an introduction or referral into the position. And the final thing I would do is look at the page post, find a recent post, and add a thoughtful comment to the post. And I would continue to find a post once a week and add a thoughtful comment up through the interviewing and application process, because you never know who's looking. And often, especially for HR professionals, often it's somebody from HR who is looking at that page pretty regularly because they're looking for candidates. They're posting job postings out on there. And it does help to create some familiarity for you and also to bring up your visibility as a candidate. Is that helpful for you, Julie?
Yes. You just made me think of something else about that. So,
All
yeah.
right. Do you want to ask it now? Go ahead.
Well, just, this current one that I am going to an interview for next week, that particular one to, more so, I believe I follow their page, but just to double check to make sure I do. And then like about posting, doing a post, like you said, a thoughtful post, well, whatever they're posting of the
Thoughtful
company.
comment on a recent post. Yep,
Commenting, correct, right,
absolutely.
right.
Okay,
Mhm.
good. Well,
So,
happy to have helped you with that, and I'm glad that you asked the question, Julie. Thank you.
all right,
Okay.
yes,
Okay. And I know we're covering a lot in here, Julie. The good thing is this is recorded. You'll be able to watch the playback again
right,
later. And I do want
right.
to encourage you, you can always come back out to our Friday VIP job seeker office hours as you're working through these changes. If you'd like some additional feedback, I'd be happy to provide it for you. All right, Julie, thank you so much for allowing me the time here today. I hope this is helpful and I hope you're back to work very soon.
All right, thank you.